What if the diet you thought was saving your health was silently sabotaging it? Welcome to Human OS Health, the channel where we decode the science behind your body's operating system. Today, we're diving into one of the most controversial health trends of our time, veganism. Is it the ultimate path to longevity or a ticking time bomb for your cells? Before you decide, let's uncover the truth, backed by hard science, not hype. Veganism isn't new. Ancient cultures thrived on plant-based diets long before Instagram made kale famous. But today, it's more than a trend. It's a movement.
Plant power for the planet.
Millions are ditching meat for plants, driven by ethics, environmental concerns, and promises of better health. But here's the question. What does the science say about your body on veganism? Does it truly optimize your health, or does it come with hidden costs? In this series, we'll break it all down, the benefits, the risks, and the cellular consequences you need to know, because your health isn't about ideology, it's about biology. Next, we reveal the vegan advantage, the science-backed benefits that make this diet so appealing. But don't get too comfortable, because what comes after might shock you. You're watching Human OS Health, where science meets survival. And feeding your gut like never before, all without a single bite of meat. Welcome back to Human OS Health, where we decode the science behind your body's operating system. In this chapter, we reveal the vegan advantage, the undeniable benefits that make this diet so appealing. Because when done right, veganism isn't just a trend, it's a metabolic upgrade. First up, your heart. A well-structured vegan diet slashes LDL cholesterol, the sticky sludge that clogs your arteries. Why? Plants bring zero dietary cholesterol, minimal saturated fat, and a flood of soluble fiber that drags cholesterol out of your system like a mop. Add nitric oxide-boosting foods like beets and leafy greens, and your arteries dilate like a fire hose instead of choking like a garden hose in winter. Your gut microbiome. Your gut isn't just a tube, it's a living ecosystem. And fiber, that's its fuel. Plant-based diets feed short-chain fatty acid-producing bacteria, especially butyrate, which reduces inflammation, strengthens your gut lining, and even influences your mood. Compare that to meat-heavy diets, which spike TMAO, a compound linked to heart disease. Veganism flips the microbial script. Weight loss and metabolic health. Vegan diets tend to be lower in calorie density and higher in satiety. Translation, you feel full on fewer calories. But here's the kicker. Plant-based eating improves insulin sensitivity. Your cells pull glucose out of the bloodstream efficiently, reducing diabetes risk. Clinical trials show vegans often lose more weight than omnivores, even while eating more food. It's not magic. It's fiber, water, and lower fat intake working together. Cancer risk reduction. Plants are chemical warfare, in a good way. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale contain sulforaphane, a compound that triggers apoptosis, programmed cell death in cancer cells. Flavonoids, carotenoids, and polyphenols act as antioxidants, neutralizing free radicals before they damage DNA. Meanwhile, processed meats, classified as Group 1 carcinogens by the WHO. Plants are your defense system. But don't get too comfortable, because the same diet that heals can also harm if it's built on ideology instead of biology. What if the diet that promised to heal you is quietly breaking you down? Welcome back to Human OS Health, where we expose the science behind your body's operating system. In this chapter, we reveal the hidden costs of veganism, the deficiencies, the hormonal shifts, and the cellular consequences most influencers never mention. Because your body doesn't care about ideology, it cares about molecules. You can eat all the kale and quinoa you want, but if you're missing vitamin B12, your nervous system is on borrowed time. B12 builds the myelin sheath that insulates your nerves. Without it, brain fog, numbness, mood swings, even irreversible nerve damage. Iron. Plant-based iron is poorly absorbed. Result? Anemia, fatigue, shortness of breath. Omega-3s? Your body converts less than 5% of ALA from flax into DHA, the fat your brain craves. That's not enough to protect your neurons or calm inflammation. Protein isn't just grams, it's amino acids. Animal proteins are complete. Plant proteins? Often low in leucine, the trigger for muscle protein synthesis. Without enough leucine, your body struggles to build and maintain muscle. Especially as you age, sarcopenia becomes a real threat. Low-fat vegan diets can tank testosterone because cholesterol is the raw material for hormones. Without it, your body struggles to produce testosterone, estrogen, and cortisol. Women may face irregular cycles and thyroid issues, especially if iodine intake is low. Your brain is 60% fat and it craves DHA. Low DHA levels are linked to depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline. Choline, another brain-critical nutrient, is abundant in eggs and liver, but scarce in plants. Deficiency can impair memory, mood, and even fetal brain development. This isn't fear-mongering, it's biology, and the consequences start at the cellular level, long before symptoms appear. Next, we go deeper into the science of deficiency. What happens when your DNA, mitochondria, and neurotransmitters begin to falter? Brace yourself. You're watching Human OS Health, where science meets survival. What happens when your cells stop getting what they need? The answer isn't fatigue, it's failure. Welcome back to Human OS Health, where we decode the science behind your body's operating system. In this chapter, we go deep into the cellular consequences of nutrient deficiencies, because when the building blocks disappear, your biology begins to collapse. Methylation is like punctuation for your DNA. It tells genes when to turn on or off. Vitamin B12 is a cofactor in this process. Without it, methylation falters. Homocysteine builds up, a toxic amino acid linked to heart disease and dementia. Your DNA starts to misfire. Repair slows. Mutations creep in. Over time, this can lead to neurological decline, mood disorders, even cancer. And here's the kicker. B12 deficiency can take years to show symptoms, but the damage starts silently. Iron bioavailability is oxygen starvation. Iron isn't just about energy, it's about oxygen delivery. Your red blood cells use iron to bind oxygen and carry it to every tissue. But plant-based iron is absorbed at a fraction of the rate of heme iron from meat. Low iron means low hemoglobin. That means your cells are starving for oxygen, especially your brain and muscles. Symptoms? Fatigue, dizziness, cold extremities, and in severe cases, heart strain and cognitive impairment. Your neurons are wrapped in fatty sheaths, and they communicate through synapses that rely on fluid, flexible membranes. DHA, a long-chain omega-3, is critical here. It maintains membrane integrity, reduces inflammation, and supports neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to adapt and learn. Without enough DHA, synapses stiffen, inflammation rises, neurotransmitters misfire. This isn't just about mood, it's about cognitive decline, memory loss, and increased risk of neurodegenerative disease. Muscle protein isn't built in the gym, it's built in the kitchen. And while plant proteins can meet basic needs, they often lack digestibility and amino acid completeness. That means your body has to work harder to extract what it needs, and sometimes it just can't. Leucine, the trigger for muscle protein synthesis, is often too low in vegan diets. Without it, your body enters a catabolic state, breaking down muscle instead of building it. Over time, this leads to weakness and metabolic slowdown. This is the cost of deficiency, not just fatigue or poor performance, but cellular dysfunction, the kind that creeps in silently until it's too late. But here's the good news, it's fixable. Next, we reveal how to do veganism right with strategic supplementation, food hacks, and lab testing that can keep your cells thriving. You're watching Human OS Health, where science meets survival. Veganism isn't dangerous. Ignorant veganism is. Welcome back to Human OS Health, where we turn science into survival strategies. In this chapter, we show you how to do veganism right, with precision, planning, and hacks that keep your cells thriving. Because your body doesn't care about trends, it cares about nutrients. There are nutrients you simply cannot get from plants in sufficient amounts, period. Here's what you need. Vitamin B12, methylcobalamin, 1,000 micrograms a few times per week. Vitamin D3, 2,000 to 5,000 IUs daily, especially in northern climates. Omega-3s, algae-based EPA and DHA, 300 to 600 milligrams daily. Iron, if you're menstruating or anemic, monitor and supplement as needed. Zinc, iodine, and choline, often overlooked, but critical for brain and thyroid health. Supplements aren't a crutch, they're non-negotiable tools. Food combining build complete proteins. Plants rarely offer all essential amino acids in perfect ratios, but you can combine them. Legumes plus grains, lentils and rice, hummus and pita, nuts, seeds, and whole grains, a trio that boosts lysine and methionine, soy and quinoa, naturally complete proteins. Aim for 1.2 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, especially if you're active or aging. Fermented and fortified foods, nutritional hacks. Fermentation unlocks nutrients and supports gut health. Think tempeh, miso, sauerkraut, kimchi. And don't forget fortified plant milks and cereals, often packed with B12, D, and calcium. Lab testing and biomarkers. Know your numbers. Don't guess, test. Every 6 to 12 months, check your blood for B12, ferritin, omega-3 index, vitamin D, thyroid markers, and homocysteine. Your body speaks in numbers. Listen, veganism can work, it can heal, it can energize, but only if you treat it like a science experiment, not a belief system. Next, we explore the middle ground, diets that balance ethics, health, and biology, without going all in on plants. You're watching Human OS Health, where science meets survival. What if you've tried veganism and your body is sending distress signals? Fatigue, hair loss, mood swings, lab markers in the red. Does that mean you failed? No, it means your biology is unique. Welcome back to Human OS Health, where we decode the science behind your body's operating system. In this chapter, we explore the middle path, diets that balance ethics, health, and biology without going all in on plants. Decades of research point to the Mediterranean diet as one of the longevity-promoting eating patterns on Earth. What makes it powerful? Plants as the foundation. Vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains. Healthy fats, olive oil, nuts, and seeds. Minimal animal products, fish, eggs, and occasional dairy. Polyphenols and antioxidants from herbs, spices, and colorful produce. This diet reduces cardiovascular risk, improves insulin sensitivity, and supports brain health without the nutrient gaps of strict veganism. Flexitarianism, mostly plant, but some animal support. Flexitarian diets prioritize plants but allow strategic animal foods for nutrient insurance. Think eggs for choline and B12, fatty fish for DHA and EPA, grass-fed dairy or occasional meat for complete proteins and iron. This approach can eliminate deficiencies while keeping your diet largely plant-based. Ethical omnivorism, conscious sourcing. For those concerned about ethics and sustainability, consider regenerative farming and pasture-raised animal products. These systems improve soil health, reduce carbon footprint compared to industrial farming, and support animal welfare. You can align your values with your biology without sacrificing health. Why the middle path works? Because it's adaptive. It respects your genetics, lifestyle, and goals. Some thrive on veganism, others crash. The Mediterranean and flexitarian models offer metabolic flexibility, the ability to pivot without dogma. This isn't about abandoning plants, it's about adding what your body needs, without guilt, without ideology. Next, we deliver the verdict. Should you go vegan for your health, or is the smartest move something else entirely? You're watching Human OS Health, where science meets survival. We've covered the highs. We've exposed the lows. Now it's time for the truth. Should you go vegan for your health? The answer isn't a slogan. It's a science-based reality check. Welcome back to Human OS Health, where we decode the science behind your body's operating system. Let's weigh the evidence. When done right, veganism can deliver real benefits: lower LDL cholesterol and blood pressure, reduced inflammation, improved gut microbiome, and better insulin sensitivity. It can even lower cancer risk thanks to phytochemicals and antioxidants. For many, these benefits are measurable, especially when the diet is whole food-based and strategically supplemented. But here's the other side. Nutrient gaps like B12, iron, omega-3s, choline, and zinc, risks of muscle loss, hormonal imbalances, and mental health challenges linked to low DHA and choline. These aren't minor issues. They can erode health at the cellular level if ignored. Some thrive on veganism, those who plan carefully, supplement wisely, and monitor their health. Others struggle, especially if they have higher protein needs, poor omega-3 conversion, or genetic predispositions affecting nutrient absorption. Your biology decides, not ideology. Veganism can be a powerful tool, but it's not a universal solution. It requires precision, supplementation, and monitoring. If you're thriving, great. If you're not, don't force it. Consider flexitarian or Mediterranean approaches for balance, because the ultimate goal isn't being vegan, it's being healthy, strong, and resilient. Health isn't about labels, it's about systems working in harmony. Your heart, your brain, your hormones, your cells. So ask yourself, what does your body need? Then give it that, without guilt, without ideology, because the smartest diet is the one that works for you. You're watching Human OS Health, where science meets survival.